All right, what's up guys? In today's video, I'm gonna tell you 7 things that I hate about my Carolina Skiff JV17 boat. Okay, maybe hate isn't the right word. These are things I dislike. I actually love this boat. I've been fishing out of it for years. I've done some other videos on it, but in case you're in the market for a Carolina Skiff, they have some pretty distinct features. Now mine in particular is the JV17, okay? So it's about a 17-foot small center console skiff, and I'm gonna go over 7 things that just over the years have kind of bothered me about the boat. We're gonna start at the front and work our way back. And again, I don't hate this boat, I love this boat, but these particular things I wish were different. So let's jump into it. All right, number 1 on my list is that there is no front center cleat to anchor off or tie off onto. So right here you can see at the bow of the boat, there is no cleat, okay? The only 2 closest cleats are here on the side. There's one here and one over there. That may not seem like that big a deal, but I do a lot of anchoring when I fish. And anytime you're anchoring not off the center of the boat, off of the side here or here, the boat is gonna sit a little bit funny. It's gonna often be a little bit angled. You're gonna have to adjust your motor or tilt it up out of the water and play with the wind. Sometimes having a center cleat like this makes anchoring a lot easier. Now, I can't do that on mine. I could install one, but I can't really do that because I have a trolling motor mounted, okay? But that's just a small little feature. I wish I had a cleat here at the front of the boat. All right, number 2 on the list. The storage compartments here in the front of the boat are actually not dry storage. So here is where you keep things like your anchor. I have some throwables, some extra line. The battery is up front here for the trolling motor as well as the onboard charger. But look at this, it hasn't rained today and look at this moisture in here. The rope is wet, everything's a little bit moist and soggy because condensation collects in here. These are not dry hatches. And you can see right under here, it's a little bit dirty, but this top plate is basically a decking that sits on top of the hull itself. So water can get in here. Look at this big gap here on the side. All these little places water leaks in. It's just kind of annoying. Now, I don't keep anything critical up there that has to stay dry. And I always make it a habit to open up my hatches like this and let them air out whenever I get back from a day of fishing. But this front storage, which is the largest storage on the boat, is not dry. All right, number 3, or the third thing that I dislike about my JV17 is how narrow the beam is. I'm standing in the boat right now and the beam is the width across the widest part of your boat. Now, Carolina Skiffs are known to be kind of narrow boats, but the beam on this is really narrow. I don't know it off the top of my head. I'll put it up on the screen. But what that means is you have a limited amount of space, especially here on the sides of the console, okay? So I'm gonna talk about those next, but this narrow beam just adds a little bit less stability and makes it a little bit hard to kind of walk around and get around. Now, right now, the boat's empty. I don't really have any gear or anything like that, which is nice. I've got plenty of room. But imagine you've got maybe a fishing buddy, you've got a cooler, a couple tackle boxes, rods, a net, a bait bucket, whatever else. This narrow beam really gets annoying to have to walk around, and it makes the boat tip a little bit. This isn't such a big boat to where it's gonna be always stable. If you have a little bit of chop and all the weight goes on this side because 2 people are over here trying to net a fish, that narrow beam is gonna make the boat kind of tilt a little bit. So I wish it was a little bit wider and a little bit more stable. All right, number 4, the rod rack or rod storage on this boat. Now, I'm not 100% sure if the previous owner of this boat put these on or if they came from Carolina Skiff, but this is pretty much the default location to store your rods. I've got 3 on this side and I've got 3 on this side. So I can hold 6 rods there, but look at how narrow this space is, okay? So picture a rod in here, it's sticking out this far. How much room do you have to walk by? When you have this boat loaded down with fishing gear, that narrow beam and the way the rod storage is set up is really annoying. Now, as an alternative, you can put rod storage here. That's what these plates are. I can mount rod holders here and lay the rods horizontally, long ways like this, but you're still running into the same problem. So because it's a smaller boat, because it has a narrow beam, and it does have a center console, it eats up a lot of space with your rod storage. All right, moving on to the console. The 5th thing that I dislike is that there are no cup holders. Now, before you guys jump all over me, I know that's kind of trivial and you can buy the little cup holders just like this one here. That's what I have. But what I mean is that there's no cup holders, there's no recessed little compartments to throw your keys or your tackle. There's very little here. or for the passenger that's sitting up front, there's nowhere for them to put a drink. I think it would be really easy to put just a little recessed, hole where you could put a can or a drink or something like that here and maybe up there. And that would just make it so much nicer. All right, now moving to the back of the boat. This is number 6, and I really, really dislike this, and it's your accessibility here to the back hatches in the back of the boat. So let me go over a couple things. This is under the bench seat, okay? Now this is a large hatch here. It's not watertight, but this is where I keep the life jackets. It's where most people keep those, because you usually don't need to get in there much, and it's big enough to hold 4 life jackets. What I'm talking about is here, these back hatches. So you've got this hatch here, which gives you access to the fuel tank. You've got this middle hatch here, which opens up and gives you access to some of the wiring and the batteries. And then on this side, I've got the actual live well hatch. Well, this is a closed off live well, so I can't get in there. So that means the only way I can get under this entire deck, okay, underneath here and back there, underneath this back deck plate, is either through this compartment here or through this compartment here. And what that means is that it's very hard to clean and get trash and gunk and junk out of there. So whenever it's raining or you're running a hose, the water, everything drains back here, okay, which makes sense. The back of the boat, that's where the plug is, that's where the bilge pump is. But you guys can see down in here, look at just all this dirt and grudge and stuff like that adds up and builds up over time because it's so hard to access underneath this. It's a dark, wet environment. It gets mildewy. If you don't drain it out and clean it really good, it's easy to build up. Trash falls back there. Everything pushes to the back of the boat. And this entire back deck plate, I can only get under through here and here. So being able to clean and reach in there is super annoying. All right, guys, and the number 7 thing that I dislike about the boat is a recent problem, and that's my trim tabs. Now, again, I'm not 100% certain if these trim tabs came on the boat or if the previous owner installed them, but what's happening is just here in the past year or so, I can feel this piston. These are supposed to automatically adjust. I can feel this thing rusting to nothing. And look at it up there. You can see and hear it in there. It's just falling apart. Now, I primarily fish freshwater, so there shouldn't be any corrosion, but what's happened is, look at this one. It's already completely fallen off. I am completely missing the piece here. This happened while out on the boat. I mean, this thing totally rusted and fell apart. Now, again, that may be just the accessory and not necessarily a Carolina Skiff thing, but I wanted to include it because it's annoying. Now I have to replace both of these. It's just one more part of being a boat owner. All right, guys, well, I'm sure I missed some stuff, but hopefully this video got your wheels spinning and give you some insight into the Carolina Skiff JV17. And just for the record, I love this boat. It's fantastic. It works great, especially for me and my father, TY, when we do a lot of fishing in the lakes and rivers here in Florida. Anyway, thanks for watching. It means a lot if you gave this video a like and maybe hit that subscribe button. Later.